Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be taking a look through my next batch of vintage Pan Giant paperbacks, giving them a once over, a clean, and basically getting them looking as good as possible. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Right then, starting off with X36, the protagonists, James Barlow. Bit of a grubby one this straight off the bat, but some of these X books, these giants, they're just tough to find in nice condition. 1959. You can just see a faint price in there. Which is proven to be quite stubborn. So this particular book has got water splashed. You can sort of see it in the corners there, the top edge here, but not the end of the world. It is borderline though, so I am going to put it, overall it's pretty grubby, so I'm going to put it on my upgrade list, which I shall do as we go along basically. So that's X36, the protagonists by James Barlow. And what I tend to do is, as I go through these, if I come across a book that's a bit low grade compared to the majority of my collection, I will make a note of it so that I know it's one worth picking up if I come across a nice copy of it. So this is a great one, the original White Oaks cover with by Hans Helwig there, and these romance ones thankfully tend to turn up in quite nice condition. That's an absolute beauty, that. A Georgette Hare. Now this one is a reprint. You can tell because compared to the other ones it's not accurate, but it's the only one I've got. So I'll make sure that I've got this on my wants list. Yeah, this is the one from 1965. I shall keep this as a placeholder until the original comes along, but it has got quite a nice cover by Oval, who I enjoy as an artist. So even if I get the first print, which will turn up eventually, I'll probably keep that. I have sort of started keeping alternative covers on Pan books now, just because, and Penguin in actual fact, because the collections, I've got more than I actually need to find, if you know what I mean, and I quite like the variety, simple as that, you know. So Gypsy Rose Lee, look at this, the frank and intimate story of the Queen of the Striptease. Wow, steady on, this is a family friendly channel here, you know. So I'll skirt over, no, it'll be fine. Look at the pictures, there she is. I think it was more, I don't know, more Moulin Rouge than anything else, but look at that, a little 30 pence inside, but it's in pen, which is slightly frustrating, but apart from that, really nice copy of that one, so that's cool. Mr. Jelly Roll, he was the jazz chap, I think. He put the heat into hot music. Alan Lomax. This isn't too bad a copy either. The Fortunes of Jelly Roll Morton, New Orleans Creole and inventor of jazz. Inventor of it, wow. Wow. That's cool. That's a cool pan. A Woman of Bangkok, Jack Reynolds. Now this one's showing a bit of, yeah, look at that. That is quite a nasty tear on the back, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. Now, apart from that, it's alright. So it's just sort of here. Now I could put some glue just along the white bit, just to keep it as good as possible. But I'm going to make a little note about this one once again in my upgrade list. So I'm getting a slither of glue here from the Pritt stick, and just very tiny here. And I'm just going to pop it just along this edge here. So I'm being very minimalist, as it were. You can get a bit more in down the bottom. Now the good news is with Pritt stick, if you overdo it, you can just wipe it away. It's that's sort of a glue, and I'll put a little bit on this side as well. It's just an attempt to stop it getting any worse. It's not a perfect fix by any means, but looks a bit better, doesn't it? But I will make a little note to get a better one of these. So X42, A Woman of Bangkok, Jack Reynolds, as a possible upgrade down the line, because you can see it's been read a few times, and that's how that back has got damaged. And that's not unusual, because you look, as I said, the Giants were 3 and 6. These were expensive books, but they were based on the size and the page count. So consequently, unless they were, handled really with care, these books get damaged quite easily on a second or third reading. Nothing wrong with that one. Nice got. I don't know how. Yeah, that has actually all just needs a tiny bit of glue. I think that's possibly been glued historically in the past, not by me though. But we'll try and slide in what we can under there. There we are. That's the little slip. Alright, I think that's pretty firmly in there, so we'll squeeze it together, squidge it down, and then get rid of the excess, like so. There we are. That's okay. That'll keep that one in place. I'm not going to bother with an upgrade on that, because I don't think he's too bad, but if a better one sort of came my way, I would probably swap it out. So this one, on the face of it, looks a nice one, but look how dark that spine is. That, to me, looks like cigarette staining. So we might be able to do something with that with a bit of luck, because the actual spine itself is quite smooth. We just need to be careful. Basically, inside, that's fine. It is, look at that spine. So when we get to the polishing stage, we'll need to give that one a bit of careful attention. We the accused. Another nice one. So that was X44 and this is X46. X45 is separate. That's the first Paperbacks horror stories, and that's with a separate collection, which we'll get to in time. I'm still finishing off the last 2 or 3 that I need on that series, and then we'll do a dedicated video. Let's slide that pile over there and we'll make another pile. So A Summer Place, Sloane Wilson. So this one's definitely got some wear at the bottom of the spines here, and it looks a bit grubby overall. So not great, I'm afraid to say. Yeah, it's got multiple faults really across the board, but it's nothing too special. But I'm going to put it on the upgrade list. So X48, A Summer Place. Yeah, a bit beaten up, not a great deal we can do to get that looking any better. It's just a worn copy. Home from the Hill, William Humphrey. This is a movie time, Robert Mitchum and Eleanor Parker. There's again a little bit of spine wear at the bottom, unfortunately. It's a nice back cover, isn't it? Look at that. I think that's better than the front, personally speaking. A bit more evocative, isn't it? Once again, it's a little bit grubby, but it's all right. It's not the end of the world grubby, if you know what I mean. Right, A Moment of Warmth. Once again, quite a heavy price has gone in there, which has left a bit of a shadow. So I'm just going to give it a secondary once over. It looks like an old 20p or something like that. Lovely. The Mountain Road, Theodore White. Oh, another James Stewart tie-in. There he is there. And Lisa Liu. A tense dramatic story of a nightmare retreat in war-torn China. Never seen that one. Don't mind an odd war movie. These are alright. A few little faults, but Nothing we can really do about that. This is a biggie. Come in, spinner. Look at the size of this. Not one I know much about, I'm afraid. Little old 20p inside. Makes me smile when I see those nowadays, you know. Right, this is yet another movie tiger. We've had a few, haven't we? Glenn Ford, this one. Maria Schell and Anne Baxter. It's got a tailor cover, that great detail on that there as well. Obviously a Western. Stalingrad. But this is a good read. I know, what's he called? Anthony Beaver did a modern version, retelling of the Stalingrad story. Now this has actually got quite a bit of wear, so it's got some tape on. There's got some tape there, it's got some Magi tape, which is keeping the book in one piece. So straight away I'm putting this onto my upgrade list. So X58 Stalingrad by Heinz Schroeder. But there's no way I'll get rid of this until a replacement is in my hands. But this looks a great one. Nice military history. You can feel it's yeah, it's been through the wars quite literally itself, this one. Got some, it's actually got £2 inside. I'm certain I wouldn't have paid £2 for this, but it's probably one that ended up in my collection through a job lot or something like that, you know. I can't remember ever seeing a second copy of this, so maybe it's scarce, I don't know. But on the wants list it goes. And, you know, I mention my wants list a lot, but on my Penguin book collection, where I'm now just down to 2 in the first 1,000, once I've got those last 2, you know, it'll be full steam ahead trying to upgrade the ones that are low grade, of which I've got about, of the first 1,000, there must be a list of about 50 books now of the first 1,000 that, you know, aren't perfect or, you know, aren't really in nice collectible condition. And the same will be the same with Pan, except for some reason the Pans are even more susceptible to you know, getting a bit damaged. So I reckon I'll have even more Pan books, but I'm a long way from getting the full runs of these. That's a nice copy, so I don't mind too much. We're just working our way through all the books. Then we're going to start the polishing process and the brushing, of course. That's an exceptional one, that. Once again, it's a romance. It's only Mazza de la Roche. They're not highly sought after, but that is a beauty. Very, very square and nice. That's really the way to have these books, if you can find them. Look at that, got the insert still. Nice, supple, white pages. This is how they would have all been published. So, a beauty, that. An absolute beauty. Pulling my next pile over here. They Fought for the Sky, Quentin Reynolds. Now, when I pull a box of books for cleaning, I fill up like a comic box, basically. Oh, it's got an old Heifer's bookmark. I pull a box out for cleaning, and I fill the comic box up with 2 rows of vintage paperbacks. But because a lot of these are quite thick, we haven't actually got that many books to look at, if that makes sense. But you know, it is what it is. Now I shall keep this one. I've got a few Heifer's you know, bookmarks in my collection. I'll keep this separate and put it with my sort of vintage bookmarks, because as I said, I've got a few. Heifer's, incidentally, used to have dedicated Penguin bookshops, if you can believe it, and that's all they sold was the Penguin catalogue. How incredible was that? And they had specific Penguin bookmarks produced, and I've got a couple of different ones of those. Now, although I can't instantly see a signature, that looks very much like a Hans Helwig to me, where he has like a character in the foreground and then a very, very busy background, and that is just sort of classic Hans Helwig, I think that is. So this is the schoolroom. And Montserrat, Nicholas Montserrat, X63. This page has been folded over there. Lovely. Right, now this one's not the greatest copy, so I'm going to put this instantly on my upgrade list. X65, Let No Man Write My Epitaph. Willard Motley. Got a PEF cover, and it's a movie tie-in. Look at that PEF. A brutal story of the Chicago slums. Gene Seberg and James Darren pictured here. I see the film also featured Ricardo Montalban and Ella Fitzgerald. Well, there you go. There's a couple of icons. Big, thick book again. But yeah, definitely one I would like to get a better copy of, in all honesty. So, yes. Let No Man Write My Epitaph. X65. The Log from the Sea of Cortez. It's a Steinbeck. Not the greatest condition one, but I'm a big fan of Steinbeck. I like his work. He's quite prolific, much more than I originally thought. This one's a little bit borderline. He's on the borderline, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to put that one down as well. X66. The Log from the Sea of Cortez. The time has come to try and upgrade some of these when I come across them, and if I don't make a note of it now, I may never make a note of it. So, X68, The Called and the Chosen, Monica Baldwin. Yeah, author of I Leaped Over the Wall, which was a big seller for Pan. So here's the first, I believe it's the first of quite a bestseller for Pan, actually, the Pan Book of Card Games. My friend Tim has got the original artwork for this, actually, by Oval, I think. Oh, no, that's it, Glenn Stewart. Yeah, he's got the original artwork for this framed up, and he even tracked down those playing cards, the Jean Picard Deleu playing cards that are featured in this on the cover. Yeah, this book was an absolute bestseller. It really was. Let's just see. Yeah, that is the first. Yeah, pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. A real Pan classic, that one. Another Georgette Hare, Friday's Child. Can't quite make out the signature on that one. So this is borderline, but it's pretty much all there, to be honest. So it's just about it's redeemed itself. It's not too bad, so I'm going to keep that one. Next we've got Alfred Hitchcock Presents Stories They Wouldn't Let Me Do on TV. Look at this, X71. Now this one has been miscut. You can see the line going down there where the guillotine has come down and it just hasn't caught it correctly, and in fact the number there has been cut short as well. You haven't got your full number, so you do see this now and again. Oh, and look at that, writing in the back and a cut corner. Unfortunately, this is on the upgrade list, and it's a reprint as well. So really, it has no redeeming features except you could read it okay as a book. And there was, of course, the TV show, Alfred Hitchcock. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous on the shelf, to be honest. So it's definitely staying with me until I get the first edition. But Alfred Hitchcock Presents was the a bit of a rival to like the Twilight Zone, really. Sort of stories with a twist. And Hitchcock himself would read a lot of these sort of short stories, and then he'd adapt some for his TV show, so which he also gave the introduction to. So that's where that's come from. Okay, The Promise of Nigeria. Now look at this. It's not a photograph cover, but because you can see it's got Pef's signature on it there, but it's obviously been sort of lifted from a photograph. Quite unusual. Pan original. Yeah, it's in nice condition, that. It's got a little 50p on the inside cover, which I think, with a bit of careful leaning on another book, we should just be able to get that out. There we are. Try that again. Yeah, there we are. That's as good as we're gonna get that one. Now, this one we've actually got 2 copies of. Now, this is the first edition, Rape of the Fair Country. A tremendously lusty novel. Splendid, says the Daily Express. Nice cover by Taylor. Got some pretty severe page edge browning going on, but to be honest, that's absolutely fine. And that was, double check, that was the first printing from 1961. So there's that copy of it. Now we've got another one here. This is a later one. As I said, I have started picking up some of the later jackets if they come my way. They keep the same quote, but it's a different jacket. And the reason I kept this one, I seem to recall, was, yeah, this is from 65, was because it had that different cover on. So, and it is quite, it's completely different. It's a different artist. You can just see them side by side. So, that's the sort of thing as a collector I quite like to do now, is pick up little sort of variations like that, Next we got The One-Eyed Monster, Alan Pryor. Well, what a cover, really. What's this all about? The novel that turns a scorching light on TV, on the scheming, lobbying and ballyhoo that can rocket a man to fame overnight. Well, there you go. Another pretty nice nick, that. Yeah, can't complain at that. Oh, look at this. Scaramouche. Another Raphael Sabatini, one of his swashbucklers that he was famous for. Yeah, not perfect, but not warranting rushing out for another copy of it. Now, these are usually found in poor grade, the home cookery book, and this one looks like it's already been repaired on the spine, so let's have a look through. But cookery books in general, just because of their very nature, are tough to find in nice nick. This one's actually not too bad. It's just aged beyond belief, but there's nothing I can really do with that there at all. I can get the slightest slither of glue in there, which I will do now, because I'm not going to bother getting another copy of this. This will do, unless one was to turn up in a collection, so. There we are. Just the tiniest of tiny slithers was all that was required. Blimey, Mandingo. Yes, this sort of started a bit of a trend, didn't it? And not quite sure how politically correct these sorts of books are nowadays. It's not the sort of thing I would read, but certainly it was the sort of thing my gran used to read. That's not a bad copy of one of the original sort of genres of books there. The Best of Everything, Rona Jaffe. Startling in its fact-facing honesty, the lives and loves of career girls in New York. A sizzling analysis of the female heart, says the Times Literary Supplement. Well, there you go. Look, and there's evidently a lot of sizzling going on in this, because it's 440 odd pages. This is a book I will never ever read. Right, last little pile. Let's slide those over there, these big beasts that they are. The Great Invasion, Leonard Cottrell. So, once again, not looking the greatest, this, and in fact, definitely on the upgrade list. Yeah, absolutely hammered this. That is no good to anybody. X81, The Great Invasion, Leonard Cottrell. Now I will rub out the numerous pen marks that are inside this one. I reckon I've had this quite a long time. Absolutely fine if you want it for the actual subject, of course. But as a collectible copy, it's not really that. It'll just be a filler for somebody, like it is for me at the moment. There we are. Yeah, not great. Definitely on the upgrade list, X81, because it's a bit on the rough side. Damned Shall Be Desire, Stephen Coulter. It is interesting how many of these have been so susceptible to splitting at the bottom of the spines. You know, just down there, but it's okay. It's borderline, but it's all right. It's all right. The Intruder, Charles Beaumont. It's okay. The Vengeance Trail. A tailor jacket. Yeah, pretty nice spine on that one. That's not too bad at all. Inside. Once again, not too bad. Be happy with that. And we got Return to Peyton Place. This is the sequel to the bestseller X93. They did a movie of it. Yeah, that one's all right. And then the last one, before we get cleaning, the Errol Flynn book, My Wicked, Wicked Ways, written by Errol Flynn. What a life. Right, this looks okay. So let's get brushing next. Right then, so let's get brushing. So we're going to go through and give all these a brush off. Some will be worse than others, as is usual. I don't think any of them are really, really bad, but certainly some aren't great. Okay, that's the first pile. 5 piles to get through. And then we'll go back through again and get them all individually polished. pile 2. Cool, dusty on the bottom one there. Okay, pile 4. There we are on the last little pile here as well. Lovely. Right. There we are. So in my dust-filled studio, I'll just take a quick break and then we'll be back to get the polishing done. Right. Time to give these the once over. And as we've seen, some are worse than others, but none of them are really, really bad, except that one which we suspect has got the bad spine on, the smoky spine. But we'll see. So yeah, some of these I need a little bit more than others, but that's fine. Some of them, now this is absolutely lovely, so nothing to worry about. Quite often with the polishing process, you can't always see what you're actually cleaning, but deep down you know that you're taking away like a little layer of surface dirt. Yeah, that's got a hint of tobacco staining on the side. So I'm going to give it a little bit more while we're here. Yeah, a little bit of tobacco staining. Not a lot, but a bit. So next week we're doing the Judge Dredd graphic novels, I believe. And then I've got one more of the vintage hardbacks to do, I think, unless we're on to the more modern hardbacks. I can't quite remember actually off the top of my head, but next week for sure it's the Judge Dredd graphic novel collection, of which there's quite a few. Some of them are quite in excellent condition. None of them are bagged up or anything, but I mean most of them I think are pretty nice. But there's a lot of them, and I don't think they've got like much writing or anything inside, although I think a couple of them could use upgrading of the ones that I've got, I think. So it'll be nice to sort of get those sorted out properly and have an up-to-date sort of list. That will definitely be cool. So I am looking forward to getting those out, but it might be a bit of a long video. It might be quite short. I just don't know until we get all the books out and we have a decent look and see what we've got to play with. But I seem to recall there's quite a few in the collection, so possibly 100 with the Judge Dredd annuals as well. There's graphic novels now. There's some books about 2000 AD and the Judge Dredd character. I reckon there must be 100 books there, I would think, So it makes sense to do them all in one hit, even if the video is a little bit longer than usual. So look out for that next week. Now this is the one with the bad spine, so I'm going to do the front and back as normal because it's a beautiful copy. The problem is with this, it could leave a load of streakiness on the spine, but that's got to be better than the horrible smokiness that we've got right now, Right. Well, wish me luck. This is one of the worst ones I've seen in a long time. Here we go. Originally, this would have been bright white. It's now this horrible smoky yellow. Ugh. It's grim, I'm afraid. Look at that. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you can do about it either. A little bit better, I suppose. It's a little bit lighter than what it was, but it's so ingrained in it. It's just like grim as anything. It really is. We give it a second attack. Ugh, it's horrible. It really is. So I'm going to leave it at that. But I think that's slightly less yellow than what it was. It needs to dry out a bit now, in all honesty. But yeah, not the greatest day. It's such a shame because the copy of the book itself was really nice, So that's how it is. I might give that another try when it's dried out a little bit later, before I put these back into the collection. So it should be nice and white like that, but very, very smoky environment, and it's got in that state, which is a shame, but there you go. Right, so that's pile number 1 done. So over on my other channel, I recently had a vintage paperback book sale, and it was probably the most successful one yet. I mean, just boxes and boxes have gone out to people around the world. Fantastic stuff. It's a great way of selling off my spares, and I always knock them out cheap because I'm a good egg, really, you know. So books from a pound. Books from a pound. I know if I like a bargain, my viewers will like a bargain as well. So most of these aren't too bad, but certainly some of them are worse than others, shall we say, you know. I do love my pans, I gotta say. I love them. As do many people. I think they're very, very popular nowadays amongst paperback collectors, these pound books. They are really, really desirable these days. Certainly, you know, when I have my book sales, as I said, the pans go very, very well. In fact, I may not have any left now, any spare at all, if you can believe it. So, however, I do know of somewhere where I might be able to get some more en masse, you know, some nice high grade ones, which I might be offering to customers quite soon. So keep an eye out for that on the other channel. If you're not subscribed to me over there, I do regular book videos every week, different aspects of my collection, not just pound books, but you know, lots of penguin content and some new books and all sorts, really. It's a real variety. I do some die-cast stuff, some toys, retro gaming, you know, the overall channel covers lots of different stuff, and I think you might find it interesting, even if it's not an area that you initially think you might be interested in. I've had lots of non-book people become book fans and even collectors just by watching the videos. So it's like, sorry about that. It can be a little infectious when you see stuff that you think, oh, actually that looks really nice, I wouldn't mind reading that myself, and then before you know it, you got a shelf of vintage paperbacks on the go, and you think, oh, blimey, I've suddenly become a collector. Well, don't hold me solely responsible for that, but I do hold my hands up to a little bit of it, should we say. Polish required. Last few. Yeah, very, very scarce to find a cookery book in nice shape. I'm just saying. At least it seems to be. pile done. Just a handful left to do. So, well, I mean, some really, really great Pan books today again, once again. I mean, quite a few that look okay spine-wise, but when you actually get them out and clean them, I found they weren't quite as good as I actually thought. But that's one of the main reasons I'm doing this, is because I like to know this is the definitive last time I'm going through these, cleaning them and that. So everything that I pick up, you know, from this point on is already cleaned when I collect it, you know, when I pick it up. So it's nice to know which ones I need to look out for on the upgrade list, as well as ones I'm missing completely, of which with Pan there's loads more than you might think. So it's not like the Penguin books where dealers would issue catalogues with big whole collections of Penguin books, and you know, you could go and cherry pick all the ones you needed, and you know, maybe spend a couple of £100, but maybe get, you know, like 80 books that you needed off your collection. If you could do that with Pan, you know, we'd have sets very, very quickly, but it's just not like that, unfortunately. So what can you do, eh? But yeah, if you've enjoyed today's video, please give it a like, leave a comment if there's anything that's interested you, tickled your fancy. Hit the subscribe button if you've not already. Definitely do check out my other channel, which, as I said, has got so much more stuff on. You know, we only do one video a week over here. The other channel has a minimum of 3 a week, and there's always at least one book related video once a week. So plenty to explore over there, with a massive back catalogue, you know, over 850 videos over there. So there's loads to go back and take a look at. But thank you very much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have enjoyed going through these vintage delights. Some good stuff here. And I will see you again in 7 days' time. We'll do those Judge Dredd graphic novels. Bye.